Our next speaker is a peace and conflict researcher. She's worked with victims of identity-based violence, and she works towards documentation, advocacy, relief, and rehabilitation. Some powerful experiences. And to hear the kind of impact, let's hear it from Shahnaaz Khan. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shahnaaz.
On the night of 25th August 2016, a family in Haryana's New district had their lives changed forever. When morning dawned, two members, a husband and wife, lay dead, beaten fatally with sticks and rods. Two girls, 120 and another 13, survived, but as victims of gang rape. Why was this family destroyed? When I met the girls, the older one told me that one line her rapists kept repeating. Tum sale Musliman Hindustan chodo aur Pakistan jao. You Muslims don't belong in India, go to Pakistan. In that one sentence, the perpetrators encapsulated more than just a heinous crime. You see, the attacks on these girls were multiple, on their bodies as women and on their identities as Muslims. And both these, sexual and identity-based violence, show power and bias. Power over a woman's body, and an attack on her body, a tool to then attack her community. You are a Muslim, and you don't belong here. In that one sentence, a 13-year-old child was told that her gang rape was an attack of hate against her gender and her religion. She sat quiet when I met her silence a question. Why me? Hate crime has two components. The criminal offense itself, sexual violence, assault, murder, and a bias motive. You see, the victim is especially chosen because of a shared characteristic, can be real or perceived. Race, religion, nationality, caste, ethnicity, sexuality, disability, or even choice of food, dress, and other such cultural markers. This then elevates a hate crime from just a crime, the base offense, to an attack on an entire community. It goes beyond the immediate victim to all who share that identity or characteristic. Imagine going about your everyday life, getting ready for work, sending your kids to school, grocery shopping, meeting friends and family. We do it all with the belief that till we do no wrong will be done to us. Now imagine that, but without that certainty. Knowing that you can be attacked anytime, anywhere, just because of who you are. Not your actions, but your identity will decide if you get home safe tonight. Your child can be bullied, harassed, even killed simply for being different. That someone's hatred will decide the last time you see a loved one. It's interesting because as a human emotion, hate knows no caste, color, religion, and yet hate crime almost always happens when that hate is given the power to act. So what is this power? That not only is it okay to be prejudiced against an aspect of someone's being, but it's also okay to then rape, to torture, to kill someone for it. So a hate crime against one person dehumanizes the entire community because it's a message. Go away, change who you are, or you are next. I study conflict and peace and strive to understand how human identities shape our wars or bring us peace. The past year, as part of a collective called Citizens Against Hate, I met survivors of hate crimes and families of victims. I looked at what motivated the perpetrators and how our state and society responded to these horrors. I compared hate crimes in India to those in other parts of the world, the brutal hackings of Bangladesh, the bomb blasts of Pakistan, or the race violence in US. And the question that I began with is the same many of you may be asking right now. How often do hate crimes occur in India? We are a country that respects diversity. Surely this must be a rare exception. Yet the India that you see in front of you is scarred. Each dot, innocents attacked or killed simply for hate. And these are only some of the cases that have made it to the English media till last year. In fact, a documentation portal has estimated a 400% increase in hate crimes in the past 5 years. So how are these crimes different from any other crime? To understand, I will tell you about Mukesh Vanya. On 20th May 2018, Mukesh and his wife were beaten in Rajkot, Gujarat for refusing to pick up garbage. 40-year-old Mukesh died of those injuries. Now, Mukesh was not a Safai Karamchari or a municipality worker, but he was a Dalit. And for his attackers, this meant that his place in society was to pick up that garbage. His refusal to do so meant that he needed to be put in that place. It was not a hate born that day, one which had festered for years, till Mukesh's killers found a moment to kill a man simply for being born that way. How do we challenge this impunity, where alleged crimes are facing mob violence while actual crimes are going unpunished? Now, for cases like Mukesh's, we do have the Prevention of Atrocities Act applicable to Dalits and Adivasis. Conviction rates under the law, though, are almost half of what they are for other crimes. And for other hate crimes, there are specific sections in the Indian Penal Code. In fact, recently, the states of Manipur, Rajasthan, and West Bengal have passed anti-mob lynching legislation. Implementation of these is yet to be seen. And in my research, I found that these laws are rarely invoked on the ground. Like in the case of Qasim, a man lynched to death in broad daylight in Hapur, Uttar Pradesh. Enough evidence pointed to the fact that this mob gathered on false rumors of Qasim being a cow killer. Yet the police maintained that this was a bike accident turned into a lynching, not a hate crime. Or in the case of Tabriz Ansari, tied to a pole and beaten to death this year in Jharkhand. The Jharkhand police dropped murder charges against his assailants, reinstating them only after a public outcry. His post-mortem report reveals the chilling story of how hate can turn us into monsters. In such cases of mob violence on accusations of cow slaughter, victims have FIRs against them, while killers go scot-free. Yet, all the grieving families I have met the past year, mother losing a teenage child, wife losing a father of 5, or infant orphaned even before opening her eyes, all of them demand only justice, not justice by the mob, but to go through a fair process and rule of law. They want justice so no daughter has to see her father hacked and burnt, and no father to see his daughter raped and charred. Where do we go from here? In a country where multiple identities have coexisted for generations, killing the other, not even in a riot, but as an everyday phenomena, is being normalized. Our own Supreme Court in July 2018 said, hate crimes as a product of intolerance, ideological dominance, and prejudice ought not to be tolerated, lest it result in a reign of terror. So how can you and I stop this terror? Well, for one, if you're a victim, speak up. Ensure that relevant sections are invoked in your police complaint. Don't let this hate get away. As a witness, call the police. See that they do their job. Stand by the victim and identify the perpetrators. As concerned citizens, hold your MPs and MLAs accountable for making hate speeches and for supporting the accused. Instead, ask them to put in place systems which punish the attackers, not the attacked. Be vigilant social media users, because before we learn to hate with sticks and stones, we hate with words. Did you know that 93% of hate speech reported online on Facebook India continues to remain online? Challenge everyone who's letting this hate take over. Because in front of our very eyes, our children are inheriting this hate, victims to our prejudice and indifference. We can be the generation that let this hate destroy our society, or we can be the one that fought it with justice, with equality, and with truth. And the time to take that stand is now. Thank you.